Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another show. Today we're talking about how to get the most out of your supplements. Particularly, I'm going to be talking about five supplement mistakes that I see, particularly women 40 plus make. So that's today's show. We are jumping in here live. So if you have questions live, feel free to comment below, and I will answer questions. And I am in the right place. Yeah. If you have any questions, drop them below. I will answer questions afterwards as well. So if you don't get a chance to watch this live, you can you can ask questions afterwards. We'll jump in, answer, and we'll jump in from there. This is an important topic. I feel like a lot of people, it's not just there's a number of different things that we see issues with when it comes to supplementation, supplements, and why you're not seeing the results that you're hoping for. So hopefully this is going to be a nice, tight show on five different reasons or different mistakes. So we're going to dive in here. However, if you're new here, you're not sure who I am, my name is Drew Tadia, founder and CEO of True Form Life. For the past 20 years, we've been helping women 40 plus increase energy, burn body fat, and balance hormones. So if that's you, you're in the right place. And these suggestions are specific for you. So let's dive in. The first one is going to be taking low quality or cheap supplements. So I feel like there's a lot of people out there that think that all supplements are created equally. That is not the case. That is kind of why we're here. Quick backstory for me, I was in college and I was told I had a whole tackle box full of supplements. I was told to take supplements and eat a bunch of protein and lift heavy weights. And I felt like that was all wrong. So what I did was and for me, I had a bunch of health issues. I was injured and I felt like I should never be injured. I was nasally, I didn't sleep well, I was irritable, I was immobile. There's a lot of issues. So I started reading ingredients and I couldn't believe what was in ingredients. I couldn't believe what was allowed. So I'd look at an ingredient on the back of my protein container and I'd do research. And I'd just fall into endless hours of research. And I couldn't believe this. Like, is this real? Is this true? Why would this be happening? How is this legal? And then from there, like that was months, which turned into years. Then I started to design my own supplements in my dorm room. And I was taking them just for myself. And then my teammates asking me, like, what are you taking? Like, what is this powder? What's that concoction? All stuff you buy at like bulk food types of stores, grocery stores. I was in the bulk bin. I was in the supplement stores trying to find the simplest and cleanest ingredients. And it was so hard. And I was like, what is wrong with this industry? Which is pretty much how we got into ours. But you could look at a couple of our supplements. Like we currently have the only organic collagen sold by a Canadian company. So we're the only Canadian company selling organic collagen. I think that's pretty cool. When I was doing some research around collagen in particular, there's a number of different reasons to stay away from mainstream conventional low quality collagen in particular. Sucralose is a big one. That's in most, like that destroys your gut bacteria. That's in most low quality protein powders. That's in a lot of low quality collagen powders. It's just a cheap sweetener, additive filler that you want to stay away from. And then of course you have unknown sources like unethically sourced. You have to look at, depending on the source, antibiotics, hormones, and even like you have trendy terms like grass fed. Those like all they have to do is put the animals on grass fed like one time. It's not like they're raised. It's not like that's all they eat to be labeled grass fed, right? Like the industry is very shady, and I feel like that's why we're here, is to introduce the best quality supplements around with information so you know how to use them, when, how, etc. Same thing, like you can look at, we have our liquid magnesium. It's a very popular product of ours. And if you go through the aisle and you look at other liquid magnesiums, they'll have propylene glycol in them. Most supplements have maltodextrins in them, silicon dioxide. Like we have a whole list of toxic ingredients I suggest staying away from. You're welcome to, I'm happy to send that out. If you're interested, just comment below. But that's across the board when it comes to supplementation. So if you're going to the cheapest Popeyes, Supplement King, you're looking at the pharmacy, Costco, just to save a buck, you're not really saving anything when it comes to low quality supplements. In fact, you're probably wasting your money because you are not only are you buying a low quality supplement that's probably not going to work, but they have toxic ingredients as well that you want to stay away from. So that's just a brief overview of mistake number one that I see. Someone will post a picture of their supplements in their cupboard, and it's just full of toxic stuff that we should be throwing in the garbage or certainly avoiding. Mistake number two is not pairing supplements with the right time or having them at the right, or not pairing the right supplements together or not having them at the right time of day. So I would suggest when it comes to pairing your supplements, for example, this is similar to, I could take another angle here when it comes to stacking habits, but when it comes to pairing supplements, like for example, this is a common one I hear all the time is that you should be taking or people take a calcium with the magnesium. It doesn't work. And then people say, oh, I take a magnesium. It doesn't work for me. Magnesium's not for me. And I'm like, well, what are you taking? You're taking a cheap Jameson name brand one that doesn't do anything. You're not taking enough of it. So, I'm getting magnesium in a multivitamin, which I'll talk about here in another tip. But, so I guess dosage could be one in particular. Other additives that you need to stay away from. But when it comes to not pairing particular vitamins, nutrients, supplementation, you have to stay away from misinformation, which is impossible. But if you look at calcium and magnesium, they sell them in one pill form, but the calcium wins out when it comes to absorption. So you think you're taking magnesium, or you think your body's absorbing or getting magnesium because you're taking a magnesium pill, but because of the calcium, you're not absorbing what you should be because the calcium blocks those pores, and the calcium is all absorbed and the magnesium is not. So that's why you need to stay away from those two, like in a combo. Good morning, Annette. Good morning, Rhonda. Anyone else jumping in here, let me know in the comments. It's always nice to see your names pop up. Okay. From there, From there, we want to look at, I want to mention vitamin D and magnesium. So if you're taking vitamin D, you want to take that with K2. K2 is the driver that prevents calcification, and it takes that vitamin D to the right places that it wants to go or should be going. So vitamin D plus K2. And then from there, you have to look at your magnesium levels. So if you're taking vitamin D without magnesium, it's not absorbing as it should be. Once you have enough magnesium stores built up, then the vitamin D will be properly absorbed into your body. So those should be taken together. What else do my notes say here? Some people are a bit more, how can I say, sensitive to a magnesium. So there's different forms of magnesium. I would suggest taking a form like if you're taking our supplements, for example, I know some of you are, I would take a liquid magnesium in the morning. And then I would take a Mag10 later on in the afternoon or in the evening. So understand that there's different forms of magnesium, and you can take them at different times of day for different benefits. So you can certainly take supplements too late in the evening, which could be possibly keeping you up at night. So it's really difficult. It's really difficult to offer general advice because everyone is individualized, everyone is different and reacts differently. But when it comes to certain things, like I used to work out before bed and I didn't have a problem sleeping. But sometimes people could be working out at 5, 6 in the evening, and they could be taking protein powder, they could be taking a pre-workout, post-workout, those sugary energy types of powders that we probably shouldn't be taking anyways, but that kind of stuff keeps us up at night. We don't even think about it. We're like, oh, I'm doing a good thing for my body. I've got a few hours before sleep, but then you're up all night because you could be have all the dopamine, and you could have all the exciting things going on in your brain keeping you up at night. Or it could be the pills, powders, and potions you're taking pre-workout to fuel your workout, which are keeping you up. So not pairing supplementation is certainly important. Okay, I only have 3 more. The third one is expecting overnight results. This is an important one because Supplementation is very different from pharmaceuticals. A lot of times people take a pill, and like we're used to taking a pill that could be prescribed by a doctor. It could be antibiotics, and then you take the antibiotics and your infection is gone after that phase is over with. Or you take Advil and then your headache goes away, right? Like those are pretty instant results. And we expect the same results when it comes to supplementation, but it's very different. In my opinion, it's better. In most cases, if you're looking at medications, pharmaceuticals, they work without question, but they usually like work instantly, immediately, but they usually come with some extra baggage, which could be called side effects later down the road. And I've heard people say, "Oh, well, I've been taking this and I feel nothing wrong." And I'm like, "Well, it's not going to happen instantly. These types of damage on our body, like taking medications for long term, could happen later down the road, and then there's no clear connection." So that makes it really difficult. But to tell you exactly what may happen in the future, but I'm not telling you to stay away from pharmaceuticals. I'm not telling you to stay away from like an Advil if you have a headache. That's not my goal here. You guys have to make your own decisions for yourself, and if you feel like it, you can talk to your physician about that. What I'm saying here is that these are two very different subjects. When it comes to supplements, I feel like you get more bang for your buck because initially you usually get an initial benefit, whatever that may be. If it's magnesium, you may get a boost of energy or reduce chronic pain, or you may sleep better. If it's if it's greens, that's a little bit more difficult, right? Because we're like, if you're having chlorella, that's detoxing from your body, that's improving your immune system. So if it's spirulina, that usually gives you an initial boost of energy. So depending on the product, will offer initial short-term results, but then you get another benefit the longer you take it. So if you look at magnesium, for example, you get a boost of benefits early on. And then we see the longer that our customers take it, the more benefits that they find longer term. So you have two sides to natural supplements, but I often hear people that'll try something for a couple weeks, and usually it's inconsistent. Consistency should be on my tip here. It should be one of my tips of not have a mistake of not being consistent. But if you are, now I lost my train of thought. Oh, if you're taking something for a natural supplement for a couple weeks and you're like, don't notice anything, in most cases, you probably haven't given it a long enough time. That's the same thing with when it comes to fitness programs. If you're not sure who we are, we have a supplement company and we also have a coaching company. Our coaching side is called our Metabolism Accelerator program. And often we'll hear from ladies that have only joined programs for 21 days max. Usually it's 10 to 14 days, sometimes 21 days. Maybe someone has joined a 90-day program, which is very rare. So I would say you haven't joined anything to give yourself a long enough chance to know if it actually worked or not. You really have to dig in and be in it for the long haul. And I would say long haul, like minimum of 6 months, that's pretty short, in my opinion. And just think about, you've been doing one thing or very little for 20 years, and then you do something for 3 weeks and you're like, hey, what's happening? It's not working. So you have to commit for a longer period of time when it comes to anything in life really worth doing. But in this case, I'm talking about supplements. A couple things that you could consider is we have a subscription for most of our supplements. We also have bundles. So if you have a subscription and you know it's coming, you're more likely to take it. Some people are like, oh, that's a waste of money, I'm going to have too much. Well, in our case, you can pause or cancel at any time. But for you, knowing that there's going to be more coming each month, it would be a longer term commitment to help you stay on track with your supplements and be like, okay, I better take this, more is coming. And usually one container or one serving or one bag, it's not going to give you the long-term benefits you're hoping for anyways. So I feel like if you really want to try something, or if you really want to use something, you should commit to something a little bit longer term to know if it works or not for you. Okay, we're cruising along here. Mistake number 4 is too many isolated pills without synergy. So let me tell you what I mean here. So I really like the approach of a holistic approach with different because our body absorbs differently. Like if you look at magnesium, your body needs magnesium orally and it also needs magnesium topically because it absorbs at different levels. You could absorb in a different way through your skin than you would orally. You could absorb more orally through a liquid, certainly, than you would a pill. So the thing is, I see a lot of times people will have like a whole handful of pills and they're trying to take all these pills first thing in the morning and then maybe they get an upset stomach or they don't enjoy taking a dozen pills at a time. So that causes inconsistency, which means you're not going to see the results that you're hoping for. Um, so what I would suggest is that you take a well-bounded, well-rounded balance to your supplementation. So you might take some capsules, you might take some tabs, you might take some powder, and you might take some liquid. I feel like, at least personally, I feel like that's a well-rounded approach to getting supplementation in different ways. Like for example, MCT oil, I wouldn't really call it a supplement. I feel like it is in the supplement industry, but you can pour that. Like for me this morning, I drizzled that on my eggs after I cooked them. I used grass-fed butter to cook my eggs, and then after the eggs were done, I drizzled on MCT oil just because the properties are more solid when they're not cooked, even though you can use MCT oil on low temperatures. So that would be, what am I saying now? So that would be one way to take an MCT oil in a liquid form. Our liquid magnesium, it's obviously a liquid. You can take capsules, like our activated charcoal is capsules. Our maca is powder. So you can take them in different, you're like, oh, I don't want a powder, just take the pills. Like you can take maca in pills if you want. I would just suggest you would get more out of it, like more absorption if your body is getting it in different ways in a more holistic, well-rounded approach instead of um, just like trying to dump a bunch of pills in your belly. um, then I also think that goes back to my last one of, or sorry, the second one of not pairing supplements properly. If you're not pairing supplements or even stacking supplements, like for example, let me see if this is my last one. Okay, that's not my last one. If you look at supplementation, for example, and you know that different supplements work well together, like for example, like I suggest, so this is my morning shake, this is what I suggest that our members do, is you put, let's say you have protein powder and you have collagen. Well, those go really well together and they can actually work together. And then you have different benefits, right? So you have collagen, which is a little different, more directed towards joints, skin elasticity, digestion. Protein is more directed towards muscle recovery, those amino acids that are building blocks. Okay, and then you have maca, for example, that I put in here for an energy boost. It's a really nice hormone balancer. It's an adaptogen, so it helps fill in areas that you need most. So I would say that's a well-rounded energy boosting way to start your morning to get 30 grams of protein and make sure you have all the nutrients you need. And then level up. If I didn't put the MCT oil on my eggs before my workout, I would have put it in here, which also helps with brain clarity and a boost of energy. So that's a really nice, well-rounded supplement stack that makes sense. If you're taking 25 pills in your hand and some of them work against each other, like you got calcium in there, some of them work well together and you don't really know why you're taking all of them, you just heard that was a good idea, I wouldn't say that's the best avenue to go down when it comes to supplementation. So you might consider there's an actual science to supplements, when to take them, how to take them, certainly which ones to take, which would definitely benefit you when you're taking more, when you're learning about supplements or taking supplements. Sharon says it didn't take 21 days to put on. Awesome, thanks, Sharon. So let me read this again. Sharon says it didn't take 21 days to put on. You shouldn't expect it to come off in that short amount of time. All right, kind of crazy to think about how many times people think. I used to be a personal trainer in a gym years ago, and I heard that all the time. People would come to me 2 weeks, even 6 weeks is super short, and they're like, "How come I haven't lost 20 pounds?" I'm like, well, how long did it take you to gain 20 pounds or 40 pounds? I'm like 40 years, right? It was a slow process. Okay, my last one here, and I'll let you guys go. Taking the wrong supplements in a unique phase of life. So hear me out. I hear this all the time is people will just grab, so they'll grab like a protein, like a muscle building protein powder with a giant bodybuilder on the front. And I'll see like a woman, 40 plus, and it's like jam packed with aminos. It's got 45 grams of protein, usually low quality with a bunch of other junk in it that you shouldn't be consuming. So like that for me, we specifically talk to women 40 plus. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. Instead, the other one is I'm not really a fan of multivitamins for a number of reasons, but I hear like, oh, my doctor told me to take a multivitamin, or I heard I should take a multivitamin. And the problem there is that usually they're low quality. Usually they have a bunch of other ingredients in there that you shouldn't be consuming. And usually they don't have enough of the vitamin or mineral that you want to make a difference. So we feel like we're healthy because we're taking a multivitamin and we have a giant shake that we take before our workout, which has a bunch of junk in it. So it's not your fault. It's because the industry is built around mass production, sales, and not health. Much like health food stores, along with grocery stores, we have to go out of our way to put in the extra effort to learn and educate ourselves. However, that goes back to taking the right type of supplements that you should be consuming for the benefit that you're looking for. So sometimes people will actually message me and they'll say, "Hey," it'll just be a random message from someone I don't really know, and they'll say, "Hey, what supplement should I take?" And I'm like, I guess if I was just a regular salesperson, I didn't care about anything, I'd say buy this, this, and this. But it's pretty well, for lack of a better term, I don't like the word impossible, but there's no way to accurately offer advice if I don't know anything. So sometimes if I ask questions, people get like really offended and they don't want to answer questions. And then other times they're like, "Why are you asking me questions? Just tell me which one to buy." And I'm like, "Well, what are you like? This is a question you guys should be asking yourself. What are you struggling with? Is it chronic pain? Is it joint issues? Is it energy, digestion? Those are usually number of reasons why people come to us. But if you have different struggles or different challenges, then you take different supplements. You don't just take a multivitamin because you're told you're taking multivitamin, or you don't just grab the cheapest protein powder on the rack. Maybe your body doesn't absorb hemp protein very well, or what's another popular one? The maybe, oh my gosh, we were looking at, so if you haven't noticed, we've expanded our supplement line, but we were looking at whey proteins, and my gosh, we tried a half a dozen different whey proteins, and they were disgusting. They were so bad, and I forgot probably what a lot of people go through when they buy a tub of, they're not cheap, you buy a tub of protein. It tastes horrible. There's chalky aftertaste. It probably gives you either indigestion or constipation. Then you're like, all proteins are the same. I don't want to touch that. And I think we're here to tell you that proteins and supplements are very different, and they can offer a much different avenue of success and results than conventional types of nonsense that we shouldn't be having. At any rate, if you need help with your supplement stack, comment below and let me know, or you can send me a direct message. All of our products are found at trueformlife.com/shop. I'll drop that in the comments here. But if you guys have any questions at all, we're always here for you. Happy to help, offer more information, and offer value to your life, hopefully. Thanks for those of you that jumped in live. Thanks for the comments. Any questions afterwards, let us know, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you soon. Bye.